Your time now 6:34, and our in-depth local coverage continues on this Friday morning. Joining us live in studio, Rhode Island Congressman David Cicilline. Certainly have a lot to talk about this morning. First, we want to begin with the very latest on the ongoing shutdown. Now, 28 days in, officially the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. We keep talking about the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel. Are we any closer to reaching a deal? What signs are you seeing, if any?
I hope so. Look, imagine being told go to work every day, do your job, and not get paid. This is something which is unacceptable to everyone. And you know, we are the only country in the world where there's a president of the United States or a president who is shutting down the government because there's a policy disagreement. We can have a full, robust debate about the best way to secure our borders, but we need to open the government now. This is not an appropriate thing to do. The president has basically said, if I don't get my way, I'm shutting down the government. That's not how you negotiate. You should not impose the costs on federal employees who are going to work every day. And in fact, in the name of security, the president's making us less safe in terms of air travel, in terms of food safety, in terms of security at the border. So we're really pressing the president, open the government. We're happy to continue to have a negotiation about the best way to secure the border. We have voted 9 times to fund the government and reopen it. Mitch McConnell needs to bring those bills to the floor for a vote and reopen the government.
Americans are looking at both sides, though, and they're saying, are we really negotiating? You know, you have people who are blaming the president and people blaming the Democrats. What are we really seeing for a movement towards negotiation? Because it seems one side is saying this. Obviously, the president dug in on his side, so
yeah,
what do
look,
we see?
I don't think there's any question the reason the government shut down is because the president said he was happy to shut the government down. But there's no winners in this. We need to have the government open. We have, in fact, approved $1.7 billion over the last 2 years in border funding. Democrats are prepared to do more. We just want to do it in a way that works. Additional personnel, drones, satellites, cargo inspections. There are things we can do. There are 2,000 Border Patrol agent positions which are unfilled. So there are things we can do to actually secure the border. We just don't think a big concrete wall is the answer.
Okay, so speaking of the wall, we know that you're against the wall, but what if there was some sort of negotiation to say, okay, would you consider the wall in exchange for a deal on DACA?
Well, that was the proposal that Senator Schumer had with the president initially, if you remember, last year, and the president backed down on that.
Right.
He made the agreement.
If it came back to the table, though.
I mean, this is one of the challenges of negotiating with someone whose word you can't trust, because the president also agreed to the funding bills that were passed by the House, passed by the Senate, and then the president changed his mind and said they're not acceptable. So part of it is also, you know, some trust in the negotiations. If you don't believe the person is going to keep his word at the other side of on the other side of the table, it's tough to do.
All right, overnight, we have a report out from BuzzFeed, and we're starting to see major networks posting this story online this morning that President Trump allegedly directed his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to lie to Congress about the Trump Tower Moscow project. You actually already tweeted your reaction this morning.
I think this is incredibly serious. This may be the most serious threat to the Trump presidency so far. This is a direct evidence of the president suborning perjury. This is very reminiscent of what we saw when President Nixon was being investigated. This is telling another individual to lie to Congress. Clearly a crime. If this is true, this is a very, very serious event.
Let's talk a little bit more about your work in Washington before we let you go. A columnist from Bloomberg recently called you, as the chairman of the House Antitrust Subcommittee, the most powerful person in tech. So moving forward, when you're looking at regulating massive companies like Facebook, Google, how do you think you get your Republican cohorts to support efforts to do this?
Well, I think our subcommittee is going to look at these huge technology platforms and what it means in terms of consumers. You know, the loss of privacy, the misuse of your data, but also we're going to look at these issues of the tremendous concentration of economic power that's leading to depressed wages, workers having less power in the workplace. So I think this subcommittee is going to be where we're going to really take on income inequality, help to raise family incomes, and to get the economy working again for all the people in this country.
And quickly, you have a local event this weekend?
Yes, Saturday we have a Democracy Reform Task Force, Hope High School, 11 o'clock. We're going to talk about the first bill we introduced to fix our broken democracy in this country.
All right, Congressman David Cicilline, we appreciate you joining us live in studio.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We'll have the interview posted later today on our website.